Record. Boom. All right.
Boom.
Summer's back. It's Sunday night again. Da-da.
Welcome to the summer show.
I like the routine that we've been going on right now. It's a really good routine. Like you've been on the show for the last like 9 times, 10 times. I haven't counted.
Probably. I mean, it's always like Sunday or Monday,
Yeah.
something like that. So
It's a good routine.
But it's good to be back.
I know, right?
And my co-host Keven.
It's like okay. I'm not okay. So you just self-promoted yourself into co-hosting. Oh, okay.
I just promoted myself.
You're no longer a guest anymore. You're a co-host. Good. I'm okay with that. I don't mind.
I'm just getting myself a salary bump here.
You know the criteria for being a co-host is, right?
What is the criteria?
Bring on some new guests, my friend.
Is that the criteria?
No, I just made that up like a second ago. But I would love for you to bring out some new like guests, or maybe like you can post some podcasts for yourself. Like I can totally like let you have your own, like kind of like Joffrey, like doing his thing with the UFC. If you have something you want to talk about, you want to put on the podcast, I'll show you how. It's really easy. So
yeah, I mean, I don't feel like I'm quite there yet.
Yeah, let me know. Since you're a co-host right now.
But if in the future, I do feel, I will definitely request.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think it's let's just keep continuing this format for now. So
all right, cool. Now we're on the same level, right? Co-host to co-host.
So, Keven.
Yes.
I don't know, quarantine 100 days or whatever.
Like a month now, maybe.
Like a month now.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Pretty good. Yesterday, I accidentally binge watched for pretty much most of the day yesterday, and I freaking hated it.
Well, how did you accidentally binge watch?
So,
like, did you not change the channel? Did you lose the remote? Did you
No. It was an active choice. I don't get me wrong. It was an active choice. Like, I was cooking the day before yesterday. I was cooking dinner. I was doing one of those like blue apron, dinners, and then I was happy. I don't know why I was so happy, and I found out this show like 9 p.m.
The show is called 9 p.m.?
No, I found that show at 9 p.m.
At 9 p.m.
It's a Chinese reality show.
Is that not your bedtime?
That is, yeah. See, like you know me too well, so that was like trouble to like begin with. Right? Like if I find the show like at 5 p.m., then we wouldn't have this conversation, right? So, so it was close to my bedtime. It was 9 p.m. and I was like, oh, this is a good show. Like let me watch 1 episode and then 2 episodes, and I watched 3. Okay, it was like a whole 12 hours of like content. Okay, and then
each episode was how many hours?
What was like an hour. Pretty much.
Oh,
so an
3
hour.
Episodes, 3 hours. Okay, so it was midnight.
So I went to bed at midnight, and then I woke up and I was like, "Oh crap! I still want to watch it." I was like, "Whatever." Like Saturday night.
Must be really intriguing.
Yeah. So like, I'm not really into the whole reality show situation, but this one was pretty good because the people in there are like my favorite people. So I was like, cool. I'll listen to it. So it's about a group of people, 4 of them, two actors, two folk artists, like the whole 评书 and 夸萨的相声. They all went to a spot in China called Yunnan, which is a pretty province. They started a barbecue joint together, which is show about that, right? So
is that real or is that fake? Like,
that's
does it really barbecue?
Semi-real.
Okay, semi-real. Okay.
So they run out of place, and then they re-innovate it, and then the whole cast has to be there for like a month, and then trying to get the, figure out sourcing, who's gonna barbecue what, like corn, and they bring in different famous people from China. So like the vibe is like a reality TV vibe, but like I just like the characters in there, so I watched them. Anyway. So I did 3 hour one night, and then the next time I wake up, I was trying to not watch it. I was like, crap, I think I'm hooked. So after my routine was meditating, and then I started watching it from like 9 to like 4.
9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Yeah, just like nonstop, right?
Wow.
And
That is
then
not you, Kevin. What's quarantine doing to you?
I know, right? And then what's funny is after I finished the long marathon of binge watching, I find myself very, very difficult to focus on reading. Very, very difficult to focus on anything. Like my attention was like scattered,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And then I was like, oh crap! Like, why I cannot focus? Like, I have to have something in the background. Like music doesn't really count anymore. Like, I used to play classical music in the background when I'm like reading and whatnot. And then I was like, cool, there's some sunlight left. So I had to actually go outside and take a walk for like an hour.
Oh, okay.
Walking meditation and actually like get my focus back. And then I got home, and then I can be able to refocus again, did some reading, how to change your mind. And that was the night that I decided I would never binge watching ever again if I can control it. So, so that was the gist of the story.
So okay. So this is very interesting. So
Okay.
you're reading this cool book called How to Change Your Mind.
Yeah.
And this TV show changed your mind.
Yes.
Faster than you reading the book.
Well, the book is about psychedelics. It's not about binge watching, but I can see why there's a funny line there. But so.
Like your behavior changed so fast, without even taking psychedelics. So, but do you have any thoughts on that?
I mean,
why do you feel like you did it? Why do you feel? Why did you feel like you were so hooked to that show that you couldn't even, you had to watch it after you woke up, after you did meditation? Like it seemed like it was in your brain stuck.
I know. And
I want to dare say it was there when you were doing meditation too.
Yeah, probably like I don't recall the meditation session was that good, but anyway.
Exactly, right?
I guess I don't know. I made a boo boo or something. Like I just folded. I just folded to my like desire to like binge watch. I guess the best way to like put it. So.
I know. Okay. I think that's really interesting if you can look at the deeper or like see if there's like that's a very interesting side to Keven.
Yeah. I mean,
I would never guess.
You would.
I would always like Kevin's this rigid. He's this guy in a military suit, like doing 1 a.m. he wakes up, 2 a.m. he does this, 3 a.m. he does that, 6 a.m. like he's in bed.
So you don't think I'm capable like to like go crazy one night and just
but you did go crazy is like, so what if it's instead of the TV show, if it was like weed or something?
See, like that's
would Keven go crazy? Like
probably not. Okay, here's why, right? Like let me address the binge watching first, and then
hopefully your mom's not listening to this, or your parents don't.
Oh, last episode with you is my parents' favorite summer show episode.
Oh, really?
Because most of the stuff that we talk about, they actually live through it, so they're able to understand most of the podcast. I was like, cool. And then my parents loves you now. He said, yeah, summer is doing pretty good. You know, like for the first few shows, like he was kind of like, you know, conservative, a little bit more like, you know, like rigid. Hint. And then and then now, like, you know, like they're like, yeah, like summer has been like open up a little bit. Like, yeah, that's true. Yeah. So anyway,
well, they missed their food. They missed their food podcast. So
that will open you up, huh? I see. But we didn't record that one. Gosh, dang it.
We did record that one. It just was bad recording.
I know, that's true. But okay, so back to the binge watching. I binge watched before, but I never quite had this feeling of not able to do anything else after the binge watching. If that makes sense. And I was thinking
Like you
about it.
didn't have
Yes.
control. It's like you almost didn't have control over yourself after. Like you
Yeah.
wanted
Like,
like
go ahead.
some
Sorry.
like some weird kind of like you. Why can I not do this? Like
Yeah. Like,
normally I would read a book and do this, but now it's just that it's just weird.
yeah. Like the whole binge watching, it seems like it's overly stimulating to my
Mm-hmm.
brain in a way that I just couldn't really function normally. Like it had put me on a wavelength that is like way above my normal wavelength. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
it's way below my normal wavelength. I had to go on a walking meditation trip to get my focus back.
Mm-hmm.
So that was interesting. Maybe it's because I made progress in my meditation practice. Maybe it's because I'm able to.
That is really that's a good yeah I yeah that's right that it's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, maybe it's
You're more attuned and sensitive to what your
yeah.
focus wavelength is, and if you
Yeah.
go beyond it, you're very like sensitive to that. Like,
Yeah, like that's true. Like I was telling my mom this because my mom has been meditating for
mm-hmm.
the last few weeks, and she loved it. She's like, "Oh, Kevin, it's the most amazing thing ever. Like I'm able to like, you know, like control my emotions and not get carried away." I was like, "Yeah, that's the point, right?" Like for me, I don't feel the need in the morning before the routine to sit on the mat for like 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I go on an hour-long walk pretty much every single day around noontime when it's pretty warm
Mm-hmm.
outside. I just walk, right? Just a walking meditation. You know, maybe some days I will listen to an audiobook or a podcast, but just go there and just start walking and then pay attention to the walking sensation. And I've been doing that for a whole bunch, and I don't really sit down on the mat and meditate for 10 minutes anymore. So
Yeah, that's what you mentioned that with your podcast was Diana, and I thought that was interesting too. That
yeah.
you're changing your style. Why are you changing your style?
I just don't feel the need to do it in the morning anymore. Before when I was working, when I was you know like going to work, actually leaving the house, I feel the need to have one less chaotic time frame to meditate in the morning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right after I wake up. Like right now, I have full control of my time and my routine. I'm able to do that, have a longer form, which I think might be more impactful in that regard than sitting on a mat for 10 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense.
No, no, no. I mean,
Yeah.
that makes sense. It was just
So,
kind of like, but what happens when your routine goes back to the same thing?
um,
Would you go back to doing a mat?
yeah, like today, like yesterday was my binge watching revelation, right? Like today, I went back to my routine. Everything is fine.
Okay.
Uh, I read for like 100 pages on that book. You know, make some good progress, and then plan out a few of the podcast idea I want to do, and then play some poker this afternoon, win some money. Just getting back at it pretty much. So
Gotcha. That's kind of okay. I mean, that's. I'm glad you were able to go back to your routine and
yeah.
not suffer from like the after effects of binging. So I mean, for me, it's been same. I don't think I cannot watch TV for more than 2 hours or so.
Okay.
Like whether it's a computer game or whether it's like a TV. I mean, yeah, 2 to 3 hours at the max.
Do
But
you
like
lose like
one
interest,
movie,
or is that like an attention issue, or is that like an interest thing, or is it both?
I don't know. I don't know. I think my mind and my automatically tells me it's too much. Like
Okay.
it's like too much simulation to my like in my brain, my eyes. That's like it just wants to like take a breather, take a breather.
Right.
It's automatically is like take a breather, and it's like I cannot watch. Like I could not have done what you did. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's just be too much for me. I would have to like, okay, this is enough automatically. And it's I don't know, it's just been an automatic thing for me. Um it's been like that for past decade that it's like it's automatically like, yeah, even if it's a video game, at the most I've played continuously for 2 hours, maybe 3 at the most, and then it's like I'm done. I'm so done.
Right.
And it's not necessarily a bad thing like for me. So
Okay.
but I mean there's some other things that I might binge according to what my binging level is, whether it's like food or something else where
Right.
I've like for me the past few weeks have definitely been more eating.
More eating, like
More
Cheetos and
eating.
whatnot.
Not necessarily snacking more, but just like every time I feel like I eat more lunch or more dinner, or if I'm not hungry, I'll just still eat a snack. It's just like boredom or like setting in or like lack of creativity or lack of some good stimulus that my brain probably needs, but I haven't figured out what it is. And
Right.
so I'll crave for some food or sugar or something like that. So
Yeah.
and that's, I mean, it's not like me eating packets and packets and packets, but it's more than what I would usually eat. So
So it's not like a little girl who just like break up with somebody and then just like pounding chocolate.
no, yeah, it's more like a gradual thing, but
Right.
like yeah, something that I've kind of been like realized over the past few weeks. And as soon as we came after Scotland, like once
Uh-huh.
we came, I felt like I was eating a lot more. And that week I thought about it, and was more it more felt like my body was like, I don't know if you're gonna get food, so it's better to get like eat more food now and store it up in your body when you have food, so when you don't get food you're okay, like a biological
Right.
kind of um, mechanism. So
Yeah,
and once it's like, oh, you're gonna get food, don't worry about food, then it's like, okay,
uh-huh.
you know. So
Yeah, like I don't recall you eating that much when I was at the lab either. Maybe like you've like increased your appetite in the last few years, but maybe like my theory is because you have less routine or less of a you know
probably.
uh to-do list, and then your mind is able to free up from actually physically being in the lab, I say at a
Hmm.
computer or the X-ray or the CT machine, or you know having fun with some monkeys. So I like it's more it's more like you have more control, so you have freed up some of your brain power into what am I going to eat or what am I going to cook, or
Sure.
all of those.
Yeah. And I
Maybe
think
some
that's
of it.
something. I think that's something to kind of like for me to be more mindful about is like what I'm doing and how I'm consuming the things. So
Mm-hmm.
um, I think that's definitely been like my revelation
Mm-hmm.
um,
So
for the past week.
we are both pretty much routine based quarantine style.
Yeah. It's like, if there's a routine that, like for me, I have to go to the lab tomorrow to do some work, and I'm like, oh man, I'm getting so used to not going.
Is it the first time you ever gone back since the virus thing, or you've been
work
back?
work, yes, like
Okay.
I've gone to the lab just for like 30 minutes, 20 minutes, like
Mm-hmm.
just to like make sure things are okay and
Mm-hmm.
the machines are like okay and stuff like that, but this is like work.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I actually have to work. So it's like, okay, well, it's what my routine was, and it's like that's why I asked you what would happen if your routine went back to normal, because
Define
it's like
normal.
what it was before the
Right.
quarantine, right? And so you
I
have to
mean,
like, is there a transition that you would do to get to that level, or it's just gonna be like switch on off, like okay.
probably there shouldn't be that much of a transition. Like I'm pretty a structured guy overall.
Mhm.
so so like rigid, if you call it, right? Like I feel like that's like the term that people describe me the most these days. I'm a rigid guy from the outside, but I guess that makes sense. I want to like plan things out. I want to make sure that things are good,
Mhm.
right? Like that's my jam, right? I'm less of a rolling with your punches and situation. But like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
like the Saturday shenanigans, like we us going to a jazz game. That is
Yeah,
not normal.
that is not normal. Yeah, yeah. We were planning to go do something else, like,
Yeah,
you know.
that is not.
But it was fun, right? I mean, so
Yeah,
where in your life is that concept of flexibility and rolling with the punches? Like, do you anticipate any time that you incorporate more of that, or you think, hey, that's never gonna be me?
I might do it in a group setting. Um, when I'm trying to figure out a way to tell them no. you, you know what I'm talking about? Like I might go with something or like a team night. Like for example, like we have a tiny marketing firm, right? Every single time that we have a team night, um, when it's an activity, then like axe throwing. Like I'm not a big fan of throwing axes at a wooden floor or a wooden wall, right? But like I'm part of the team, so I have to be there, and then like it's not that fun for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or like the idea of just hang out, just chill at beat ups. I hate that idea.
Okay, so you don't do that, or you except
Oh
if it's like a team night or
yeah, but like would I go there by myself? Probably not, right?
who do you
So
go with?
I don't know, just other people that wanted to go. Like I'm
Okay.
like for example, like Joffrey, like right before the lockdown, right before the
Mm-hmm.
the quarantine, he's like, yeah, let's go to beat up. I was like, let's not go to beat up. Let me show you some better chicken wings places. I mean, went to Fox 33. We got their garlic chicken wings, and then
Okay.
it was
I don't know
better.
if our 33 had like chicken wings too.
Yeah, I didn't know either, but they have the most amazing Asian garlic fried chicken wings.
But that's not really the same situation.
It's not. You are right.
So it's
But
like
like
you've done this with Joffrey. You've gone out. You've had food. You've like
talked, but
you've talked. Yeah, I mean recorded stuff like that. So not necessarily
yeah,
the same thing.
yeah. So I'm not your average like rolling with the punches guy. Like, if that makes sense. So
So how do you like? Do you want to? Do you feel a need to change your perspective on that, or do you feel like if you're put in that situation of axe throwing, like how do you make that fun for you? How do you change your mind?
Jesus Christ, Summer, you are getting good at being this co-host thing. Let me think about this.
You're reading the book. You can't take psychedelics all the time, but
that's that's true. Well, let's talk about the book next. But um, I I don't want to say that I'm not willing to change, but it is what it is. Um,
damn, Kevin,
I know.
you want me to change, son?
I mean, like I can say, oh yeah, I'm open minded to like do this. I'm open minded to like do that. If I want to put a number on there, 80% plan, 20% rolling with the punches. If I'm being generous.
We put you in a number for that.
Yes.
It's not like random. It's like 80%. Like
Yeah, like that. I mean, I like there are guys that can go into something with no plan, right? Like for example, like my boss Taylor, right? Like he is the kind that like that's why we work so well because I'm the plan guy. I had to get this done, like have a structure, this and this. Tell me what to do. Let me present you with my idea, my plan, my routine. Get that things done. Like, what do we need to do? Let me know, right? He will just be like, okay, cool, let's try this out. Let me know how it goes. Like I'm that way too. Like don't get me wrong, but I guess I'm that way, like more rolling with the punches when there's not much of a stakes in the decision or in the outcome, if that makes sense.
if there's like not huge stakes involved, you're fine taking the risks.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if there are stakes involved, you want to have a plan.
Define stakes, define all outcome. It's pretty much all like situational based. So
well, yeah, but I don't know what like stakes mean to you. Like
I mean,
yeah, like if it's like Whether it's choosing restaurant A versus restaurant B,
right. Let's say
maybe not. But if it's like choosing company A versus company B for
yeah,
marketing,
yeah. Let's say you know like after done with the first date, and then I think the day will I will know more. Like if the girl wants to go to McDonald's and get a milkshake, I'm down. But I will never go to McDonald's by myself, right? Or like guy like ice cream that is usually overly sweetened.
mm-hmm.
I'm not an ice cream guy, right? But if
So you're not a sweet guy.
I'm not a sweet, yes, I'm. That's true. I'm not a sweet guy. You got me somewhere. I'm not sweet. I'm very bitter. You know, I'm extremely bitter guy. So there you go.
Bitter old man, Kevin.
That was a good one, but yeah, like you know, like when the stakes are like it depends on where you're going for, right? If I'm going for getting to know the girl better, where do we do it doesn't make sense, right? Or it doesn't matter, right?
Mm-hmm.
If like my
What
goal
did you
is
wait? What did you say? You don't care where you do it with the girl.
no, I'm saying that if the goal is to get to know her better,
Uh-huh.
after dinner she wants to go to McDonald's to get a milkshake, even though I'm super anti McDonald's, but like the goal is not to enjoy a milkshake at McDonald's. The goal is to get to know her better.
Okay.
Does that
Now,
make sense?
what if she wants to get the shake from McDonald's but go to your place
For a movie, yeah, sure, I'm down.
to get to know you better?
You know what? My parents listen to the podcast. So they'll probably put a pin in that.
That would be after hours with Kevin.
Yeah, that's true. I have a story to like talk to you about, but that should be after the podcast, something more related. But
Okay.
we can put a pin in that for now. But like my point is right, like, is to really figure out like what's the goal or what's the outcome, right? Like if the outcome is just have a team night and I get to know our team member better, then it doesn't matter where we go, right? So I guess it depends.
So give me an example of a high stake situation.
I was thinking about the example here. Let's say high stakes. Let's say, you know, let's say you and I, we are.
Is that a popular term in poker? High stakes, low stakes, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So high stakes means something, and low stakes means something. Micro stakes means something. So let's say, okay, talk about poker, right? Let's say you and I we have a dinner reservation at some fancy restaurant in Vegas. Let's say 8 p.m. right? Just hang out, right? Then like talk about poker. That if I want to enroll in a tournament at like 1 p.m., like you know people facing tournament, I might need to rethink that decision because it's higher stakes. In terms of like if I want to, let's say the first place, I don't know, the last time that I played, the first place was like 10 grand, $7,000. I don't remember.
That's a lot of money, dude.
Yeah, right. So like if I value that as my high stakes decision, then I might not need to think about, okay, should I plan to play this tournament here, or should I focus on dinner with you first, like that social interaction before, and not cap myself, right? Let's say I'm doing well, then you know it's like 6:30 p.m. Like what do I do, right? So I guess the point is for me to make sure that like you know like Joffrey and I talk about it, I make sure I'm not capping myself of certain success, right? And not to jeopardize the end goal, right?
So you would call me and tell me screw you.
No, I will call you and say, hey, let's do this, but you know, I will not play the tournament myself on that day. Maybe I will play cash game. Maybe I will play like some kind of a commitment.
Let's make it even more interesting. Let's say that we had a dinner reservation at 7:30.
Right.
You started a game at 4:30, three
Right.
hours, and for
Right.
some reason you're doing pretty well. The game was continuing.
Uh-huh.
The game would continue on, and it was 7.
Right.
Would you stop the game? Would you say I'm done? I'm going to cash out and go to the reservation, come to the reservation, or you would say I'm going to just tell the person that I'm going to be late or let's reschedule because I'm playing.
Are you talking about in a cash game situation where you can cash out anytime, or you're talking about like a tournament situation where you are not out until you're out?
Tournament situation.
I will probably not play the tournament to begin with.
No, you're already playing the tournament.
Okay, so I'm in the tournament.
Some weird. You forgot the date clash. You forgot
All right.
that the reservation clash.
So,
You made one mistake
mm-hmm.
in your plan.
So in that case, I will probably call the restaurant and call you and say, hey, can we postpone it for like 2 hours?
Okay.
If we're still down. Like I will try to not come to that decision, but like by not playing the tournament where I have to be out, it's like a survivor's game. I'll probably just play some random cash game where I can cash out anytime.
Okay. Let's change the risk, the stakes here. So let's say
Why are you
if it
so
was
interested in this topic? Like I'm confused.
because I'm trying to get to like understand your psyche.
Is that a compliment or is that like, let me expose Kevin's Kevin's psychic on the podcast? Whatever. I'm game. I'm down. Like,
let's so let's say if it was in the future you were married and your wife was pregnant. You didn't know when the baby was coming. You just knew it was gonna be at some point. So you decided to play a tournament because you weren't so sure. Okay, and you're in the middle of the tournament, and then you get a call, a text message. Your wife is going to the hospital.
Like to do a baby delivery then?
Yeah, it's like your baby's going to be delivered like within a few hours or 30 minutes. You don't know, but it's going to be that day.
Yeah.
And you're in a tournament. You're doing well.
Then I will leave the tournament.
Wow, so you are a good person.
Thank you for saying that. That means a lot to me.
I just wanted to give yourself to redeem yourself. Give a chance to redeem yourself.
Yeah.
So,
I kind of pick up on that when I all of a sudden I has a pregnant wife when I don't even have a.
I'm just giving a hard time, man.
I know that's fine.
I'm just giving a hard time.
I get it, but yeah, sorry.
Joffrey paid me money.
Joffrey paid you money to do that? All right, so Joffrey is officially the guest right now. So I have a new co-host. Anyway.
So, I'm just kidding, man. I'm just kidding. So, but no, I think that's kind of interesting. And you kind of mentioned it's probably like you mentioning about you want to talk about the book. It's probably a good time, like how to change your mind. I saw a picture. You sent a picture about the books and the dog in front of the.
Yeah, that was
Tim Ferriss.
Tim Ferriss is giving away like.
By the way, just right before we started the podcast, me and my wife were watching this YouTube video on like the Westminster show, which is like a very famous like dog show. Yeah, and the lady was going through like 205 breeds, recognized breeds, and I was like, wow, that's a lot of breeds. But something that I picked up from whatever breeds you talked about was how a lot of the breeds were bred for function and the form followed the function, which is kind of an interesting kind of takeaway for me. It's like, oh, we just like, for example, she said the poodles you see, the standard poodles, like, you always see their hairstyle cut in a certain manner, like with those pom-poms and like the big thing and it's like I always thought it was just because to show them off, like just to show. And the lady said that poodles are actually water dogs as well. They love to go in the water.
Right.
They like to like help with water, like fish and stuff like that. And the reason why they're cut, shaved in that manner is because their most vital parts, like, like their paws and stuff, and the vital organs have hair to keep them warm. And the rest of the body is shaved because it'll help them go a little bit more smoothly in the water, like swim better in the water.
Interesting. Okay.
It's just not because somebody decided to like cut them that way.
Right. Oh,
and it was like, oh, that's very interesting. Like, never knew that. So interesting tidbit.
Yeah, like for myself, I'm probably not in the best position to adopt a border collie. I'm probably not, right? No, like not just saying that, like, because from the breed, like, I know that they are highly intelligent and they are work dogs and they need to be constantly simulated. Like for me, like that might be a little bit more rough, right?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's but I mean, but with mixed breeds, it's harder to kind of see what kind of breed is going to be dominant, right? I mean, if it's a pure, it's a pure, but like, yeah, with the mixed ones, you don't know which personality is going to dominate.
Right, that's true. So
right,
we'll see. I'm sort of putting the dog situation in the back burner right now. I will still look at the website, but like it's just
today's Sunday, man.
Huh?
Today's Sunday.
Today's Sunday. I saw the website. I don't see any dogs that I like, so I'm probably gonna do something tomorrow. But I met another dog this week, and it was great. German Shepherd mix, very easy, 3-year-old, and they picked something else. They picked somebody else.
Did it give you any feedback for this one?
Same thing, that the dog chooses somebody that has a better reaction than going with me. So I might be not a person that dog likes. I think that's my theory. Like they seem to be more calm around me, and then they seem to showcase that they like other people better, if that makes sense. I don't know how. Like I have no idea what's going on. It's been the same feedback for the last like 3-4 times.
You carry treats?
I don't. Maybe I should, but the last couple of times was that I had a great conversation with the foster mom, right? I told them what I'm gonna do with them, like, how this dog can fit into my life right now, how they will fit into my life later on. I walk the dog. The dog is nice, it's easy, it has habits already set up, and they pick somebody else. And I was like,
So how much is it influencing the foster parents, and how much is it truly the dog?
I have no idea. Like that's the thing that I'm trying to like figure out, like, is that maybe, okay, so the one theory that I have is that I am usually the first person to meet a dog because I am so on top of things. Maybe that's when it's a bite me in the ass, right? And so I'm usually the first one, and then there's usually 2-3 family behind me. And maybe the recency bias, right? People are like, yeah, the last person liked the dog the most, I'm gonna give it to them, right? Keven, who I met the dogs on Wednesday, where they're making a decision on Sunday, it might not be a good mix, maybe, right? Secondly, I think what's happening is that I am super calm. I am super mellow. Dogs can pick up on that. So like when people are like, oh yeah, like what's your dog's name? Luna, right? Oh, Luna, you're such a good girl, blah, blah, blah. Like dogs, they actually can pick up on the tone and they will hype up because of that. Since I don't do that, it might appear to the foster parents like, okay, the dogs don't like Keven that much.
Oh, that's actually a really good thought. Like,
right? And yeah, and what's cool about this one, because this foster mom, she actually works for a dog training facility, and she wrote my whole bio, and I put a walking meditation in there, so she likes that. Like she actually mentioned to me, I was like, yeah, like, if you go on your walking meditation and then just take him out and then walk for a longer time. I was like, nobody ever brought it up to me in all those meetings. because they probably didn't really read my application. It's like a 3-page or 4-page questionnaire pretty much, right? And the last thought that I have is that I don't want to make it like a, you know, like a you know, anti-Asian or anti single guy thing, but maybe, you know, people think, oh yeah, maybe a family would deserve the dog better than a single person who lives by himself. I don't know.
Because they're afraid that you might not be able to take care of the dog as well when you
Yeah.
are at work and stuff. Like,
yeah, but like I made it to them perfectly clear that, okay, this is what I'm going to do right now. I'm doing the virus, doing a sort of social distancing. I'm committed to like train. I've actually, you know, dropped a couple knowledge on them about different ways of training, like, you know, like, and then they agree because I've been in the lab. I've been like, you know, studying, right, on like dog training techniques and whatnot, and I couldn't figure out, to tell you the truth.
So is only rescue rowers the only one that are open right now, or are there other ones too?
There are other ones
Like
too.
Humane Society and
Yeah, but
Best Friends.
I kind of just want to roll with them for the time being, because like Geoffrey mentioned it to me too, like before I met this dog, and then he's like, yeah, Kevin, like I want you to like have a dog, but like these people, like I feel like they're like biased. And I was like,
yeah, I heard that was the same podcast, but
yeah. Like that's true, but like, I wouldn't, like, I do believe in their process. Like, that's why I'm still with them. I do believe that they have the best intention of the dogs in mind, right? Like it's not the first person who can, you know, cash out $400 or $250, whatever the dog costs, and then boom, you get the dog, right? I do believe that, but I'm struggling is how I can optimize for my case.
So
Go ahead.
I mean, my perspective, and I'm not saying to stop working with rescue rowers or that they're biased in any way. I mean, you're right. They're probably looking for the best family for the dog, and you're right. Your theories do make sense. Like, you're right. It could be any one of those factors or more that we are not aware of. But I'm like, why I am trying to recommend the other places as well is because I think you could probably put more of your training to them. Like, it's like, by the fact that you're telling me that you want to rescue these dogs that are already being fostered, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also implies that the dogs that are in the other places who may not have the same foster care are what's going to happen to them.
Right, they might be
like,
euthanized more than these.
But right now you have enough time and you have enough knowledge to pick a dog that's not a puppy, not from a breeder, but somebody who may not have had a chance of that foster care, and try to foster them and try to like train them. They're not gonna be super terrible, right? Because you might choose one that is more closer to your personality, or you're more like what you feel like you might jive with. Smaller breed, you know, but I feel like you have a lot of knowledge that you may be able to work with a dog like that.
Yeah, I'm like anxious. I'm very anxious right now just to get my hands on one so I can start practicing. But I think you're right. That's okay.
But yeah, I mean, you don't necessarily need one has been worked on so much that already has a routine set, and it makes your life easier. I get it, but I think I feel like right now you have enough time on your hands that you could get them to a point where when your work starts, that they'll be fine.
Yeah, like this is
that's something to consider. That's all.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing that I'm debating with myself as well as should I branch out, right? Like because I'm truly like I'm buying into what Rescue Rover is doing. Like, I don't want to, you know, to like shut the dogs in the shelter, right? Like with like, you know, like walls and there's no water, there's like terrible food. Like, I don't want to support them. But like it's not like this whole model of like, you know, like every dog that comes here from New Mexico, they usually rescue dog in New Mexico because it is the strictest kill you know
Yeah.
kill the dogs laws.
Mm-hmm.
It's like in a country. So they brought a dog here to Utah. They just get them right to the foster home, right? So the foster parents knows the dog the best, and then they take 3 application, right? Like I think that's great, but just like I'm not the one that's benefiting from the rules, but it doesn't mean that they're not good rules, right? Like if you go to another shelter, like maybe the employee doesn't really know the dogs. They just know them by patting them or know their name. They don't know their tendency. So I'm like completely on my own, if that makes sense.
But you realize you're still completely on your own here too.
That's true.
It's just the foster parent knowing more about the dog hasn't helped you in any way, particularly.
That's true.
Like, because ultimately they're relying on the dog to pick the owner. That's what they're saying, right? From what they're implying.
Well, they're saying that their foster parents will pick the dog, will pick the person that is the best fit, but I
for
don't
the dog.
know. Yeah, but I don't know what that's
but they're also saying how the dog is reacting to that family, stuff like that, right? And
yeah,
and from what you just told me, it seems that makes the biggest decision. Like the biggest weight is, does the dog enjoy that person? And then yes, there might be like, does it a single person? Does it have a family? Blah 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 blah. You know, but it seems that is a lot of weight. And I'm not saying that by going to a shelter, you're necessarily like, I know you don't want to support shelters like that, but what happens to those dogs there? Like you're supporting those dogs there.
I know.
You're rescuing a dog there. You're not rescuing somebody who's like already made, right? It's so consider. So what I'm trying to say is consider rescuing in its more of a pure form. Like you can go down to the point where you're actually rescuing a dog from its actual habitat.
Right.
But do you need to go to a point where it's like trained to rescue them?
Right. I see what you're saying.
It's like maybe if you're truly into the act of rescuing a dog, then be in the act of rescuing a dog, not like supporting like rescue rovers, like the organization has per se. Yes, they're doing a good job and they are really like trying to like do their work and get stuff done, but I don't know if you need to go to that level. You can just rescue a dog.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know.
Maybe.
Something to think about.
Maybe I.
What's the harm in going to the place? So what's the harm in going to one of those places and checking the dogs? What's the harm?
Right. That's true.
You don't have to pick a dog, but if there's one that really feels your energy, then you can decide.
Yeah. I guess I put the value on actually getting information from the foster parents and just figure everything out by myself.
Or getting the information from the dog. Not just like yourself, but like getting like, you know, like feeling the dog.
That's true.
I don't know. Like
I might just branch out a little bit, but we'll see.
Yeah, just see as I mean, I don't see any harm in just going to a place or just checking it out for the sake of checking it out. You're not like saying no to rescue ropes, but
yeah, I know. Cool.
But I mean, a part of me is like, I do feel bad. You're trying pretty hard, and it's like you're like, oh, I'm gonna put it in the back burner. It's like
I'm not a dog whisperer. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, what I'm saying is that I am afraid that in a month's time you don't get a dog, your life goes back to normal, and then the chances of actually
Yeah,
rescuing a dog really drop because
probably.
you're busy, because you're
Probably.
not busy with life. So what? So it's like rescue zero, right?
That's true. That's true. Like that's exactly why I'm actually, thinking about this and doing research and actively, pressing on getting more knowledge about it. It's to that reason is I have time right now. Right.
Exactly. So it's like once that is over, it's like that window of getting a dog is over. And maybe something again to consider is like, will you be able to sustain that lifestyle or a lifestyle of taking care of a dog
Yeah.
once your
Very,
thing is you once you're
very, very true. I
you
mean,
know
that's a question that my parents were like telling me to think about too. Like they're not supportive of me even going to meet the dogs because there's strangers around there. Right? I get it. I really do. But at the end of the day, like I'm probably gonna be more like picky with rescue rovers. Not
and
like
I think you should be, because if they're the ones who are being so methodical about choosing somebody, so should you.
I I'm still never really like figuring out what exactly is the thought process because I'm not a foster parent for a dog. I probably will never be. But the thing is I'm trying to figure out like what a part of me is that I want to figure them out. It's like a poker thing. Like I want to figure out
Okay.
like how I can be a master
And
at
then you want to play the system. If you
yeah
figure the
like
system out.
yeah that's kind of like why I'm like really reluctant to look for other options is that I need to know what I can do to win that foster parents
Wow.
like heart right there. Like I want to know like what I can do, like what I can try to make sure that I can get those things through and give me a better shot at it, right?
So
Because
so so when you
go ahead.
say that out aloud, how does it feel?
Good. I feel a little bit more like like riled up right now because I'm kind of
Okay.
trying to figure out. Okay, I need to figure this out. You know, like to be honest, like getting a dog or don't get a dog during this time, it doesn't really matter. But I want to make sure that like it's kind of like dating, right? Like same thing, like meeting a girl, meeting a dog, meeting a foster parents, whatever.
Hmm.
Like I need to know what is going on so I can be better at it next time. Like getting a dog is just a side project right now. It's just like that. But I want to
So
make
what
sure
do you
that
want to get better at trying
getting
to win a foster parent?
yeah, getting a better handle on what's going on in the realm of meeting a dog. Maybe I'm not projecting the right body language. Maybe I'm not projecting the
So,
right.
so hold on. Are you doing this to understand yourself better, or is it to really adopt a dog? Like, what is your motivation? What is your intention? What is that?
in the
Like,
okay.
if it's, is it like, are you trying to understand what I'm trying to say? Like,
Yeah. What's my motive here?
what is
In
your motive here? Yeah. Is it,
in the beginning, it was adopting a dog, and I think it still is. It's just I'm getting tired of telling the people telling me the same thing,
mm-hmm.
right? Like the dog didn't choose me. Maybe there's something I could have done better when we are meeting the dog. Maybe I should go, "Hi, boy, how's it going? Hello." Right? Like you can see, like it doesn't sound like me at all. Oh my God, your dog is so cute. Maybe I need to do that. I don't know, right? Like I need to figure this out. Hopefully, I don't blow out your like eardrums, right?
No,
Right there
that
when you're in
was
the
that
headphones.
was that was really high.
I know, but like part of me, like part of my motivation, I would say probably like 60-40 is that 40% is that I want to figure out the system,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like you cannot tell me no forever, but like back of the thing that I'm thinking is that I know the dogs are being, I know that like the dogs are good, right? Like whatever their decision is, me or not, I know the dogs are getting taken care of,
Mm-hmm.
right? But for me, I need to know that I got it. I need to know what's going on when I'm meeting. I need to know that I can ace an interview with a freaking foster dog. I know that's kind of my thought process right now. So does it make sense? Sort of, kind of.
It makes sense. I think yes, it makes sense. And if that, you know, if again, my only concern is that if your motivation was purely to know how the system works, when you actually get something, when you get the dog, you might not care about it because you won, you figured the system out, you got the end result.
The trophy dog.
Trophy, yeah, it's a trophy. It's just a trophy. Like now you have to take. This is a living trophy that you have to take care of, but
I know.
you know that you weren't really motivated to do that. So just be. I mean, I would say just be mindful of that, and
Yeah.
that it doesn't take over that 60%.
It just depends on how you put emphasis on certain things. So
Exactly. So I mean, that's something to kind of. I think you'll be fine. Like you'll be fine. You taking care of a dog. I believe so. So
how
uh,
how so? What makes you think that?
you take care of your plants, man.
That's
Don't
true.
you water them regularly?
Yeah. Well, like that's kind of like the biggest motivation that I'm wanting to get a dog is that I need to know what does it feel like to care for something that is more than a plant.
Yeah, and the stakes are higher in this one, right? Or,
I know, yeah, the stakes are pretty high, so I need to be on my A game. First of all, figure out the foster parents and then figure out the dog. So, but yeah, like I'm really looking forward to the personal growth that come with.
yeah, personal growth. That's right. It's going to be a place of personal growth.
Yeah, and you know, like circling back to like dating, like I still feel like it is a good practice of finding the right one, right? Like know what kind of stuff that I'm looking for, like what kind of stuff that I'm looking for in the dogs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a fun version, but I haven't been getting the fun results. You know, I've been getting the bitter end of the result for the last, oh my god, for the last month now, right?
Month, and yeah, you've seen quite a few dogs. So
I think I've seen like five different dogs right now, maybe 4. I don't
mm-hmm.
even know. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I will swing by the shelter or something and then check them out too. But yeah.
Just kind of like yeah. And if there's nothing that catches your eye, then nothing catches your eye. Like nothing giant. So
Yeah, that's true.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
There you go.
That's gonna
That
be
was
cool. There you go. That's a big tangent diversion from whatever we're
what are we
talking
gonna talk
for.
about
Oh,
again?
change the mind. Change
Oh
your
yeah,
mind.
like the book.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been reading this book, right? How to Change Your Mind. It's by Michael Pollan. Do you know who Michael Pollan is?
I do not know who Michael
Okay.
Pollan is. Can you
So
tell us a little bit about him?
So he's probably like one of my favorite writer right now.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen on like Netflix? There's a show called like Cooked, about
Cooked.
food, about different culture, about different ways of using.
I don't think I haven't seen it, but I've seen the it kind of popped up in my list, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah. So Michael Pollan, I was a fan of him.
Mm-hmm.
He was probably, I would categorize him as a experimental writer.
Okay. Experimental writer.
Yeah. So I don't know what that means, but let me kind of give you more like context, right? So I got Audible, right? Like the Amazon audiobooks thing. And then when I first joined it, they have this thing called Audible Originals.
Mm-hmm.
So they start putting money into content creation. And Michael Pollan released a book only on Audible, like not even in the written form, called Caffeine. So what happened was when he was researching for the psychedelics, and they were talking to the researcher at Johns Hopkins and whatnot, and then they tell them, hey, like, if you really want to know what does it feel like, first of all, you need to try it, and second of all, you need to get off it.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yeah, like, I've been drinking caffeine for the last like 15 years. Let me get off it. Like, let's see what kind of effect that it might have on my body. Okay. So the whole book of Caffeine, I'm going to segue to How to Change Your Mind, is that he quit drinking coffee or taking in caffeine cold turkey. So he was writing about his feelings, his routine. I think he tried it for like 2 to 3 months.
Okay.
And then during the personal experiences, he was talking about more of the caffeine history, right? Like how the coffee industry, like, rips off the people
The
in
fair
Panama.
trade and other such
Yeah,
things like.
yeah, right. Like how does this kind of a drug culture, like it's the most legal and not the most profitable, but it's the most legal drug ever is caffeine, right? Like people regulate marijuana or LSD, but like this thing, like you can go to a Starbucks and get one for $4, right? So, and then he talked about his body feeling after he quit the caffeine and after he started drinking it again, right? And then this is the same thing. Like he's been doing this for the longest time, like cooked, right? It's just the way that he tried out more home cooking. He also wrote like another book called Plant Rules. It's like a very tiny book where he investigates plant-based eating. Right? And then How to Change Your Mind is the second to the latest one that he investigated into the world of psychedelics. And to me, I bought that book like during Black Friday last year. I still haven't dived into it yet. I'm doing it now. It's because it is really intriguing to me ever since that I started meditating. Because the outcome, the objective
I'm binge watching.
Are similar. Yes, and binge watching, right? Like it's when you're meditating, like it says that okay, like if you want to reach the effects, let's say magic mushrooms, right? If you want to duplicate that, like I've never done it. I'm not sure if you ever done it before, but to implicate, to like have the similar experience that magic mushroom gave you, which is having like a heightened senses, right? Like taking everything in a more heightened way. To reach that, you need 20 years of meditative experience minimum to at least have some glimpse into that.
Dang, that's a long time.
I know. And I was like, crap, I'm like at year one, at year 1.5, right?
That's also if you don't give up.
I know, right? So like me, like being a fan of like, Tim Harris, right? A 4-hour work week and a 4-hour shift, 4-hour body. I'm always looking to optimize my next interaction. So it's the conversation with the dog owner, right? With the foster parents. So I'm very curious how he framed this kind of experience, where he actually gone on to LSD trips and mushroom trips, or how he described it. Well, that was my 5-minute rant on the book. So pretty much.
That's interesting. That's intriguing. How far are you in it now?
Almost halfway.
Almost halfway. And what's been your takeaway? What's been like a highlight that you can give us in that much from whatever you've read so far?
Today, it was interesting. Like the takeaway message for me is that plants, like psilocybin, right, mushrooms and whatnot, they have actually been like harvested, or it's probably not the right word, but being able to eaten by like horses, by livestock, by sheep, by dogs. So they actually found that those livestock like horses and dogs, they can recognize the plant or mushrooms that have that effect, and
avoid eating them or eat them.
and the animal actually does a conscious choice to have that effect once in a while. So
wow.
yeah, I just learned that today, and it was kind of mind blowing. So like they were tracking a bunch of horses in the wild, and they actually will go to the place where there's actually more like hemp plants growing, and they will choose to go there and get high voluntarily to quote unquote escape their reality. Dogs do it, lions does it, sometimes zebra does it, horses does it. So it is a natural plant. Like I get that, but for me, I'm still very cautious about the whole psychedelics things. But that's why I'm trying to get more do more research and try to know more.
And how much do they need to eat raw to get that effect? Eat raw.
We're talking milligrams here, so same thing. Might be a little bit more than us, but maybe a couple leaves or maybe a couple stamps will probably do the job. I don't know. They didn't specify in the book.
Okay, because I mean, usually the usual form of is like it's more concentrated when humans have it, I think.
I mean,
right?
if you break it down into milligrams, right? Like micro dosing is like what, like 4 milligrams, 5 milligrams per 180-pound average adult, or 160. I don't know like how much weight that there is. Assuming that horse is like double the human body weight, like 200-pound horse, right? That sounds about right. I don't know. I don't own a horse. No, maybe 180. I don't know.
180 horse average.
I don't know how heavy horses are. Like 500 pounds? No way. Google that.
I am Googling.
How heavy are average horses? 300 maybe?
Average horse weight is 840 to 2,000 pounds.
Really? Wow. I guess you see. I'm not a horse trainer, but yeah, maybe a couple grams, maybe 10. I don't know.
That's probably a lot of leaves that they have to chew to make it bioavailable in their body.
Yeah, but like they actually actively to like seek out to change your experience, right? So so that's pretty interesting to me. So it's a natural way to like bypass the shortcut, if that makes sense, right? So like the way that Michael Pollan phrased it, I think is really resonating, is that as humans, we are in tune with shortcuts, right? Like
shortcuts,
like with the habits, right? Like because it takes so much brain power to process information, and there's a lot of information, we are naturally inclined to develop habit or mental shortcuts in different things, right? And the best way that Michael Pollan describes the way, I don't think I made it to the part where he tried LSD yet, but with like magic mushrooms, the way that they are highlighted experiences, right? They are seeing funny pictures. They are taking in a very very heavenly stand, and then they're seeing like big dragonfly flying in the air, and they leave traces. They actually leave like traces. So it's like the mental simulators are actually firing. So they're bypassing the shortcut. So that is the way that he is describing it. And I think it makes sense,
Yeah, it makes sense. So is he trying this out himself?
Yeah. So he actually, he wrote a book back in 2016 where not everything is legal yet.
Okay.
He was actually taking a personal risk to go to the underworld with the psychiatric therapist, and at least that's how I know of him, because he's done more than one podcast on the experiences. Where if it went wrong, let's say if he had a heart attack during the trips, he cannot sue anybody, or he cannot seek any damages, because it was an underhand transaction.
So he's a human guinea pig, a human experiment.
Yeah. And that's why I like Michael Pollan so much, is because like if you like no offense, right? If you take an artist to the experiences, they might be able to express the situation better, to paint the picture better, right? If you take a business guy like me, or an engineer guy like you, we probably cannot really put it into the way that most people can understand, right? Like that's what I appreciate about his writing, is that he actually are very, very good at writing about his own experiences. Like he wrote a book. I finished a book on Audible yesterday about him trying to figure out how to grow a garden.
How to grow a garden? Okay.
Because I was doing some garden work like for the last couple of days, and I would listen to that. We can talk about that when we are doing this. So yeah, that's what I appreciate about his writing. So
that's awesome, man. Like, that's intriguing. I might pick that up myself and try to give it a read. So
yeah. So That's pretty much what I'm
And
working
we
on
have
right now.
we have podcasts coming on those on these books.
Yeah, I did an introduction in the Chinese version, just to tell everybody like before I read the books. I've been taking some notes, but I kind of tossed them this morning. I feel like it's not really profound enough to like post it. I don't know.
How about you do the caffeine experiment? I mean, yeah, you don't. Do you drink caffeine? You don't.
I
You
don't
just
drink
drink
coffee,
tea.
but I drink tea. Yeah.
How much does tea have effect on your
It
like?
it depends on what kind of tea do you drink.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
If you drink green tea that is very fresh, you might have a better kick. But if you drink a more processed tea, like the tea I drink today is like 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old,
hmm
the caffeine, the biological substance might be declining a little bit. So
yeah. So I don't know if that would be a feasible experiment.
yeah, I mean,
So
it's just very interesting. Maybe I will find something maybe that it will be interesting enough to like talk about to do a podcast on it. But
hmm
overall, like this whole field of interest me, like I don't know what's your stance on them, but we can talk about it. But for me, I'm still being very, very cautious on this situation.
I
So
think it's definitely. You're right. Like I'm also pretty cautious on this. I do not know, or I am unconvinced right now that the people that describe these. So psychedelics definitely have effects on your brain chemistry.
yeah,
I
yep,
feel like that's more of a given. That's
yep,
you have to kind of. But what you experience in those trips, some people call it transcendental. They're like they feel things. They feel like something else has opened for them that they didn't realize. A higher power, something, whatever.
mm-hmm,
I am a little bit skeptical
right,
because how do I trust that what you're seeing in those trips is not what your mind has made up in a way
right,
like instead of saying your third eye has opened, something like that.
right,
So I think that's something, and I don't know if I'm convinced about the reasons to take them. Like why would one choose to take that? Like
right,
what does getting away from a reality mean? Why do you need to get away from your reality? And the consequent effects of addiction on them
right,
to keep escaping your reality.
right,
Like, I mean, I don't know if Michael Pollan, right?
mm-hmm,
Like, if he did not have I don't know what his threshold was, or if he didn't have a therapist, a psychiatrist, or what happened then.
mm-hmm.
Because again, like addiction with these usage is pretty common as well.
Yes, yes. Definitely agree, right? So that's kind of like my concern as well is that I enjoy full control of my reality, my consciousness, if you haven't picked up that
hmm
that note from me yet. I don't see the value, at least right now, to try it.
hmm
Maybe I'm curious about it, right? But like the thing is that it's actually funny. I was on one of those dating apps, right? And then I actually learned what like raving means. Like,
Oh, okay.
do you know what like raving means by the girls right now?
No, you tell me what it means.
Okay, so raving, I what I learned is that okay, so her word for word definition is raving is people listening to music and doing drugs, making out naked.
Okay.
That's what raving means. And the girl that I matched with gave me an offer to go raving with her, and obviously I turned her down. But
Oh.
that's what I know by what does raving means, right? So this whole situation of go raving or
hmm
I'm the same way. I don't see the value in them. I just don't. I think the reason people are raving is because they enjoy that kind of looseness in control, right? But for me, like circling back to what we talked about today, I hate losing control. I absolutely hate it. So that's that's pretty much like my personality.
No, I agree. I'm kind of like you. I like control. I like to have certain control over myself and
Maybe it's
my
an Asian thing.
environment.
Have you thought about that? Maybe the Asian thing.
Could be. Could be. You're right. Could be.
I don't
Question
know,
to
but
ask your mom. So,
yeah. So
but yeah, I think it's something that like I also don't want to lose control of my environment.
yeah,
And I don't know if it's because I'm afraid what would happen, like
yeah,
the repercussion if you were told like Keven, what you do when you lose control, nobody will ever know, nobody will ever judge, nobody will like. Would you still be prone to do it? Like,
yeah,
um,
definitely. I mean, like this whole field, I was like buzzing in the 1950s. That's how LSD got synthesized,
mhm.
accidentally. And then in the 60s, they got shut down, right, by the Reagan administration, by everything. Like it got a bad rap. And
Mhm.
then 40 years later, in the late 90s, we start picking it back up again, right? So right now, we're still at the very, very early stages. So, but for me, I see myself trying it out in the future under the circumstances that maybe I have anxiety somehow. Maybe I have PTSD. Maybe somebody mugged me, or I don't know, right? Like I need to have some kind of a psychological damage first
Yeah,
before
which
I see the need to try it
yeah,
out.
which what you're saying is that some trauma has caused your brain chemistry to change,
Right.
and using those drugs is a means of perhaps bringing back normality,
Like the
not to
Hail Mary. Yeah.
not enhance, like not
Right.
to like give you a trip, but to make you feel normal, to remove your anxiety, to remove your stress, whatever that is. So it's kind of like a mediation to get back to normal. It's not a means to enhance
Mm-hmm.
or you know
Yeah.
and maybe they'll synthesize different forms, compounds
Mm-hmm.
that may not be as addictive and are more therapeutic than
Mm-hmm.
um,
It depends on what you get into. Like for example, like LSD are not addictive at all.
okay, I did not know that.
Yeah, if you're giving a bunch of LSD to like mice, like like with like cocaine or heroin, they will just press the lever on
Hmm.
until that they're dead, right? They're OD. But with LSD, that like the mice will try, but they will not go over that ever again.
Oh, okay. That's
So maybe it's
interesting.
overdosing, maybe it's not, but other form of lifestyle, they actually go and seek out
Hmm.
magic mushrooms. So we don't really know what's happening after you ingest them.
Yeah. It's like what chemical, what does it change your brain chemistry? But I mean, yeah, I mean, like that's I don't know. I mean, I think if I were in a similar position that you described, suffering from some kind of anxiety or something, I
Mm-hmm.
might try. I have we did try giving our dog like CBD
CBD.
oil or something like
Uh-huh.
that, like just to see if that would help her when she was like in her the first 1 year when we were leaving her in the house and we were not
Mm-hmm.
there. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it really helped her in any way.
Any differences in her behavior, anything like that?
I didn't feel it. I did not feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, and we used up like one bottle or something. I did
One dose,
not.
heavy dose.
No. But so it's just didn't. Maybe we didn't do long enough. Maybe it was too like whatever she was stressing about was still too much.
Right.
So it didn't like really help in any way. But other people have said that it helped their dogs, for example.
Yeah. I'm still not convinced like the whole thing about the CBD, to be honest.
Yeah, and the CBD is supposed to be like from a different part of the hemp plant, and like
yeah.
it contains things even like a lower dosage. So it's like
yeah, so there's not much THC in there, so it's not gonna get like that like addictive, like addicted. But the thing is, because it's everywhere, like if you go to a CBD shop and they have a giant sign say free samples, right? So like whenever everything is going like getting more mainstream, getting more popular, I'm always kind of more like hesitant to like to go about trying that out, but just doesn't really know. Like right now, you can actually buy a sparkling water with CBD infused in them.
Yeah, it's just.
And they're pretty pricey too. It's like $40 for like 12 of them. I was like, really?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. That's just where it is.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the biggest thing for me is that I'm interested in more of the scenarios that relates to meditation. Right.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if you. Again, I'm unconvinced that you need to bypass the 20 years to achieve that. I think if you did meditation for 20 years, that itself would have a profound impact.
So you're saying that you don't want me to feel enlightened, quote unquote enlightened.
I don't want you to find a shortcut to enlightenment. I think that's the better way.
There you go. I mean, I totally agree, right? Like the way that Michael Pollan described this, I think he talked about on the podcast, is that it's like the shredding of your own ego. Mm-hmm. It's like the way that he described it is that you have like a Post-it notes, right? So you see your ego like that, and you peel it off, and then you start shredding them, and then you just let them go. I was like, that might be interested to like experience. I have not quite understand what my ego feels like, or getting my ego bigger and bigger. I don't know what I feel like. I don't even know what ego is, to be perfectly honest, right? Like I want to experience the shredding of my ego, right? Or maybe it can propel my experiences, or in terms of meditation or things like that. I don't know.
I mean, it could be, but
yeah.
I mean, more hard work always pays. So
the safe way is always better.
The safe way is always better. But maybe I don't know. I don't want to completely, reject those ideas, but it's just I am personally cautious on them. So I feel part of my bias is like to keep them away.
I'm the same way. I'm the same thing.
Maybe there's definitely something to like think about and like read about, and like if you're one of those people that really wants to try that by legal means.
Maybe one day
supervised.
Maybe I will just one day I will just cave, and I will just go like raving with a Tinder girl that I just met. That will never happen, but maybe one day.
That would be a podcast too with pictures. After hours. That would definitely be. That would be the podcast
that my parents will not have to have access to. Anyway.
Oh man. Okay, man. We gotta wrap this up. So
wrap this up. All right, cool. Anything else you want to talk about, or to cover something?
No, Matt, this has been a really good one. I think again, really lively and trying to like break down Kevin's ego.
My
psyche.
Ego. I want to see my ego shredded. That's the take-home message. I want to shred my ego. Anyway.
Okay.
All right.
It's good to be back, man. So
cool. We'll do it again next week.
I'll do it next week. Okay.
Stop recording.